welcome to the final NaNoWriMo vlog for 2023. It's been an interesting week. It's weird to be starting this vlog now since I have been so busy and we are already at Tuesday and these vlogs usually go up on Wednesdays. However, this week it will be going up on Friday since the 30th of the month, the last day of the month obviously, was, or will be for my case, was for you Thursday. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit interesting of the, hold on, let me close Discord. Let me just mute everything because it always happens that as soon as I am ready to start talking to y'all, they start talking and making it make noise. This vlog is going to be probably a little bit longer than the other ones have been. I'm going to try and make it extra special since this is the end of the month and there's going to be some extra days, but we'll see. Like I said, today is the 28th. It's Tuesday and I am finally back to my usual work schedule with Set Studio and with everything that entails. I'm going to bring you up to speed a little bit and then we're going to get moving. As a lot of people do, for Thanksgiving in America, I traveled. I was with my girlfriend and we went and saw her family, so we were traveling and I did my best to keep up with my writing. I took my laptop and I would write when I had a chance. There was usually some time during each day, a little bit like to nap, to rest, to write, whatever I wanted to do, and I did do that. I wrote a little bit every day. I did not actually skip a single day so far this month, knock on wood. But I really struggled with it. I wasn't in my usual space. I wasn't, in a place that's familiar. I was writing on my laptop, which was fine, but a lot of times I find that my laptop can be a little bit odd just because the keyboard's different from my desktop, which you wouldn't think would be a big deal, but the shape of the keys and the spacing is a little bit odd. And I found myself misspelling words a lot more often because of that, but that is such a negligible, tiny issue that I was more than able to overcome it. It was just one of those little irritations. I did actually start to get sick. I started to feel crappy on Sunday on the drive back, and I felt crappy pretty much all day Sunday and then all day Monday. I was able to take Monday off, which is really lucky. I wrote on Sunday right before I started feeling really bad. I managed to get in a couple hundred words and I just managed as best as I could. But then Monday I was feeling worse at first and then better. I started to feel better as time went on and I was able to write then as well, but it was not my usual start of the work week, which I usually do on Mondays, and I kind of missed that, but it was okay. My girlfriend was home. She was able to take care of me. She took that day off to recover from travel because it usually takes quite a lot out of both of us. And I was extra lucky because I was feeling ill. I recovered by today, Tuesday, so I was able to go to a coffee shop like I usually do and have my weekly restart, even though it was technically a day late. It really helped me to get back into writing. I had been struggling all throughout our time traveling, even the Sunday and Monday sessions at home. I really wasn't sure where I was going with the story. I spent a lot of time brainstorming, and I do count that towards my total for Nano. That may not be strictly within the rules for Nano, but to me, figuring out what I'm doing is as much a part of writing as writing the actual manuscript. So as long as I'm typing out those words, I count them. I was still using for the words like I have been this whole time, and I feel like that really kept me motivated. I feel a lot of times guilty that I need gamification to keep me writing, but honestly, as long as it helps and it's not hurting anyone and you're not like plagiarizing your work, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that it added just a little bit extra something fun on those days when I was really struggling, and it just made all of the difference to keep me writing. And today, like I said, I felt better. I was starting to get back into it writing-wise, and I wrote 2,841 words, which is, I believe, the most I've written any one day. No, I did write 3,213 words on the 8th, but it is the second most words I've written on any one day. And I was able to come up with a timeline for the events of the story. Well, not even the story, but like the events of the world. What's happened in history of this world and what happens, globally during the time of this book. And that really helped me figure out some things that help the story, which is exactly why I count that sort of thing towards my total, because I came up with some really good ideas for the story that I wouldn't have otherwise. And it kind of felt like I was finally drafting the story, even though the first draft is pretty much done. But it's just kind of how my pantsing and planning, my plantsing as I call it, and I know I'm not the only one that calls it that, but I definitely consider myself a plantser, how that goes. And it's a weird system, but it does work for me. And I actually started writing a myth about the moon and its cycle, which may seem kind of fluffy and unnecessary, but I do think that it will be used within the story, so that will be nice. I am trying to incorporate more of the culture into the world, more of the world into the story, because I feel that when I am able to keep the story grounded in the culture that it's in, it will be a lot easier to make the stakes understandable and the reactions and actions and prejudices of people understandable and make them make sense. So that's really what I've been doing this past week and what I'm doing now, or what I did today. Now what I'm going to be doing, I have my cup of tea, which you saw me make in the beginning. I'm going to take the strainer out and put it on this little coaster, for one thing. But I am also going to get on my computer and go into the For the Words documents and my Scrivener document and kind of shuffle the scenes, put things in order where I think they need to be, make notes for scenes that I want to write in draft 2, get that all situated, and then I'm going to back it all up. I have already backed it up a couple times, but I have been doing a lot of writing this month, and I need to properly back up everything that I have written, been writing, all of that. So that's my goal for today, and then I think tomorrow I'll work on finishing that myth I mentioned, and also work on starting draft 2, which is kind of wild to me, the thought of it's time to do that. But time passes. We're nearly to the end of the month. What with traveling and being sick, I did end up not having really I did not end up keeping my word count up to date, which is a shame. But thankfully, since I've been entering them into Nano, I can write them down here in my bullet journal pretty easily. Okay, so it's the final day of November 30th. It's like 3:15ish in the afternoon. I'm trying to quickly film this before we run out of sunlight. And I just wanted to kind of recap everything. I've really enjoyed these videos. I love making vlogs, but I haven't lately because I don't feel like they're a very productive use of my time, even though I do enjoy them as far as promoting my business goes, as far as creating content that will be enjoyed by people, which is part of the reason I make it, because I like to share with people. I don't want to be screaming into the void, so to speak, but I glad that I decided to try with NaNoWriMo vlogs. I do really enjoy vlogs, and it seems like at least some of y'all enjoy them too. I have really enjoyed getting to show you guys my writing schedule, how I work in different ways, and just kind of bring you along with me so that you can hang out with me and maybe work on your own writing throughout NaNoWriMo, or in the future, these videos are obviously going to stay up. It's not like I'm going to take them down now that NaNoWriMo is over. I did win Nano. I won yesterday afternoon. I wish I had recorded my adding of the final word count into Nano, because it did this little animation and was like, congratulations, you've won NaNoWriMo and whatnot. I did write some today. I wrote just under 1,000 words, I think, for working on my second draft. Now that the second draft has been started, it's really been enjoyable. I really like it. That process of rewriting the first chapters. I don't necessarily think that for a second draft you have to rewrite everything, and I probably will not be rewriting everything, but so much has changed about my writing style and content of the story. I have so much of a better idea now than I did at the beginning of the book. So I am rewriting these first couple chapters. Some things have changed that kind of fundamentally change the way the character interacts with the world. The same sort of things happen, but they react in a different way and do different things to deal with the things that are happening. So that's why I'm rewriting the chapters, and like I said, I'm really enjoying it. My character is pretty pretentious, especially in the beginning, so I've been having fun coming up with lots of similes and metaphors and sort of purpley prose to kind of sort of emphasize the pretentiousness of R, the main character. I am a little bit nervous as to how I'm going to continue in December. I do think that is a pretty common fear that people have when they finish Nano. What's next? And for me, I think it's really going to be just continuing to edit. I'd like to get my book to a point by the end of 2024 where I can start querying it. So I have about a year for all of the revisions. I don't know for sure if I will look into beta readers for the second draft. I might. I feel like I could, but I'm not sure. We'll just have to see how the second draft turns out. I think one way that would really help me to keep motivated, even if I'm not writing every day, but keep me moving, would be to send my chapters to beta readers one chapter at a time, so that I'm kind of like, oh, I want them to be able to read the next chapter. I need to edit the next chapter. And getting feedback chapter by chapter might be more exciting for me than having to revise the whole first draft without then any sort of feedback, any sort of interaction to talk about it. So I think that might be what I do. I really like that idea. You'll have to let me know if you attempted Nano this year. Did you win? Did you meet 50,000 words? I know that's not always the same. Sometimes people set their own goals. What was your final word count? I'll insert mine here. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's probably somewhere around 51,000 words. I have no idea. But yeah, I really had a lot of fun with this. It was a different experience from last year. Of course, every year is different, but I feel like this year was almost too easy. I did have challenges, I told you about that, but at the same time, looking back, maybe it's those endorphins, after someone gives birth, they're like, oh, I'm going to have another baby right away or whatever. Maybe it's that, having me say, oh, that was almost too easy. I don't know. But yeah, the sun is going down, so I think that's about it. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this vlog. I would love it if you would leave a comment. Like I said, tell me about your Nano experiences, tell me what you're writing, all of that. I'd love to hear about it. Like I said, I do not enjoy screaming into the void. I love interacting with y'all. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, like the video, dislike the video, although if you're still here and you didn't enjoy it, why are you still here? And ring the bell. I think that's the other thing I'm supposed to ask you to do. And yeah, I hope that you have a really great day. And thank you for spending some time in the Stet studio with me today. Goodbye.